the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. You lied to me. All those times I said that I loved you, you lied to me. Yes, I tried. Yes, I tried. You lied to me. Even though you knew I'd die for you, you lied to me. Yes, I cried. Yes, I cried. Return of the man. It is. Return of the man. Come on. Return of the man. Oh my God. You know that I've been there. Here I am. Return of the man. Once again. Return of the man. Top of the world. Return of the man. Watch my flow. You know that I've been there. Here I go. So I'm back up in the days. Running things to keep my swine. Letting all the people know that I'm back to run the show. Cause what you did, you know was wrong. And all the nasty things you done. So baby, listen carefully while I sing my comeback song. You lied to me. She said she'd never turn on me. You lied to me. But you did. But you did. You lied to me. All this pain you said I'd never feel. You lied to me. But I do. Return of the man. It is. Return of the man. Hold on. Return of the man. Don't you know? You know that I've been there. Here I go. Return of the man. A little girl. Return of the man. What's my pearl? Return of the man. Up and down. You know that I've been there. Round and round.
What's up, fellas? Now, as you know, some of y'all should know if you've been following me for a while. You know, this song, Returning to Mac by Mark Morrison, used to be kind of like my default theme song. Like, for example, when I spoke in London at the Direct Dating Summit in London in November 2010, that was the song they played to introduce me. And like when I first started my show on BlogTalkRadio, that was the song I used to use for my first few episodes, was Returning to Mac. So yeah, that used to be, a few years ago, that was like yours truly's default theme song. My Mo 1 / Alan Roger Currie theme song. I love that song, man. That's I love that song, Returning to Mac. That's why I let it go on a little longer. Normally I cut the music off. But I let it go on a little longer because I love this song. Matter of fact, speaking of turn stuff out, let me turn off my notification. Now, I know I always say this. Well, I'm not going to need to say this as I go on this video and explain something, but I was going to say this video is not going to be too long. Yeah. If you're exclusively just a YouTube listener and viewer of mine, the news I'm going to be giving you in this video is going to be disappointing to you. It's going to be disappointing to you. On the flip side, if you're a Patreon subscriber of mine, it's going to be great news. But if you're strictly just, the only thing you do is watch my free YouTube videos, but you're not a Patreon subscriber of mine, yeah, I'm going to give you some disappointing news beginning with May 1st moving forward. May 1st moving forward. Okay, first, as you can probably anticipate, I'm going to briefly touch on my video I uploaded yesterday, Sunday. Interesting, if you listen to the video, you could tell it was actually uploaded a day after I recorded it. I actually recorded that video on like early afternoon on Saturday. I recorded the video early afternoon on Saturday, but I got busy doing stuff and I didn't actually upload the video until Sunday morning. So yeah, I've done that 2 or 3 times before where I recorded it one day and then uploaded it to the next day. But yeah, I actually recorded that video. Now, technically, I came back from my sabbatical early because I said my official sabbatical from YouTube was supposed to be from April 1st, which was, I think was on a Monday Monday, April 1st through Sunday, April 28th, which was yesterday. So today technically was supposed to be my first day back. Today was supposed to be my first day back from my sabbatical. But I came back yesterday. But anyway, I want to touch on that video. I don't want to rehash that video because then there's no point in you watching it. Well, number one, as you can tell by the length, that's the longest video podcast I've uploaded in over a year. I haven't uploaded a video podcast that was over 2 hours long, I want to say since fall of 2017. Yeah, fall of 2017 was the last time I uploaded a video that was over 2 hours long. I've done, probably since I've been on YouTube, there's been about 4 or 5 videos that I've done that actually were over 2 hours. Yeah, I've done about 4 or 5 videos that were more than 2 hours long. I've done a few other videos that were more than an hour and a half long. Over the last year or so, most of my videos have been roughly an hour or less. I might add some videos that were like maybe an hour and 5 minutes or an hour and 10 minutes. But generally, most of my videos over the last 12 to 15 months have been roughly an hour or less. But yeah, in 2017, I did quite a few videos that were like 75 minutes long, 90 minutes long, 105 minutes long, or 2 hours long. But anyway, yeah. So that's number one thing about my video yesterday. That was the first video I did that was over 2 hours long. And I know the thing that pissed a lot of y'all off. Because I already got a few Facebook inbox messages and a couple emails. Because I know when I do a video, you guys love to comment. Whether it's something good to say about the video, or in some cases, for my haters and critics, something bad to say about the video, even though a lot of times I tend to delete shit from my haters and critics. But yeah, as you can see, yesterday's video said comments disabled. Comments disabled. I didn't want to deal with no comments, man. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with no comments. So damn, see, now I'm getting notifications on my smartphone. Yeah, and that relates to actually one of the reasons why I'm changing my format beginning of this month. But anyway, I'm going to get to that in a few moments. But yeah, just to touch on my video as far as, not that I need to explain my motivation for doing it, but I do want to touch on a couple of things related to yesterday's video. See, man, do y'all remember it? If you've been following me for at least maybe like 2.5, 3 years, 2.5, 3 years or longer, I say a minimum of about 2.5 to 3 years, you might remember there was a woman, a sister, black woman, who was she was an MTV personality. MTV, the network MTV, music television. She was a MTV personality named Francesca. I think her username on YouTube is Cheska Lee. Cheska Lee. Cheskaleigh. Cheska Lee. Francesca Ramsey is her name. Francesca Ramsey. And me and her got into like this beef on Twitter. I don't get into too many Twitter beefs with people. I've had a handful over the years. She might have been the last one or next to last person I got into some type of major beef with on Twitter. Matter of fact, I'm not really that active on Twitter anymore. I tweet from time to time, but not like I did like, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Like there was a time I used to tweet something like every day, 5 to 10 times a day. Now I might tweet something like once a week, if that. See, I'm not really into Twitter anymore. But anyway, I got into a Twitter beef with this chick named Francesca Ramsey because she had written this post basically demonizing men who are alpha males, as well as men who refer to themselves as alpha males. She basically tried to make the argument that all women prefer beta males over alpha males. Yeah, she tried to make the argument that no woman in her right mind wants an alpha male, wants to be married to an alpha male or be in a long-term relationship with an alpha male. And I would say she's probably partially correct, because you've actually heard me say on a few videos that when it comes to long-term relationships and marriages, most women don't want a guy who's 100% alpha. They don't want a guy who's 90 to 100% alpha. If I had to put it in terms of percentage, when it comes to long-term relationships and marriages, most women want a guy who at most is maybe 60% alpha, 40% beta. But I don't know too many women that want to have a husband, fiance, or long-term boyfriend that's 90 to 100% alpha, unless they're either super duper duper submissive, or they don't mind that their husband, fiance, or boyfriend is going to have sex with other women. Basically, an open relationship. But if it ain't one of those two, most women they don't want to be in. But anyway, going back to Francesca. Yeah, that was an argument anyway. I came on Twitter and basically just disagreed with her. And then all her fans came out the woodworks and start going in on me and shit. Then some of my fans came in the conversation, went off on her, and so on and so on. She even took it to Facebook. She mentioned my name like 2 or 3 times on Facebook. So it went from a Twitter beef to somewhat of a Facebook beef. Anyway, that's not even the main issue, is the beef I had with her. But I remember at that time, while we were having a beef, I ended up doing kind of my informal research on her to find out a little bit more about her, because I didn't really know that much about her. And I saw on her Twitter timeline, some of followers asked her, they said, Francesca, why don't you make YouTube videos anymore? It seemed like you don't really make too many YouTube videos anymore. And she said, and this is related to my last video, she said, I don't really like YouTube anymore because it's too easy for people to repeat, duplicate, and regurgitate your talking points and comedic material without facing any real consequences for it. And she said, it's made me lose my enthusiasm for doing YouTube videos. And even though me and her were having beef, I agree with her on that. At the time, I didn't really agree because I wasn't really on YouTube like that. But now that I've been on YouTube for a little over 2 years, I agree with her assessment of that, man. That's actually there's a few things I actually, to be truthful, don't like about YouTube, and that relates to my main subject today, why I'm going to be changing my format. But compared to the blog, like, I did Blog Talk Radio for 9 years, as most people know. I had an audio podcast show on there for 9 years. I love Blog Talk Radio, man. The only minor criticism I had of Blog Talk Radio was that in my latter years on there, the audio quality wasn't that good. I thought the audio quality could have been a lot better. But other than that, man, like when I was on Blog Talk Radio, man, I didn't really deal with no back and forth beefs with other Blog Talk Radio hosts. I wasn't drawn into any type of argumentative drama. I mean, I didn't have no haters and critics. Like, I never had like haters coming into my chat room for my audio podcast. Everybody who came into I'd say no less than 95 to 99% of people who came into my chat rooms for my audio podcast, just like on live streams on YouTube, how you have when people do live. I don't do live streams on YouTube, but for those who do, there's usually a chat room associated with it. Well, you had the same thing on Blog Talk Radio. When you did your live audio stream, there would be a chat room. And see, like, I notice a lot of people on YouTube, they have to, at minimum, time people out, what's called timing people out. You time people out for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or in maximum, you just have to boot them out. See, I never had to do that on Blog. I think I only did that maybe 3 or 4 times on Blog Talk Radio, where I had to kick somebody out of my chat room. for saying something stupid. But again, I'd say 99% of people who came into my chat room, they loved me, man. They loved and adored me, man. It was nothing but love and respect from the people who came into my chat room to listen to my shows. So I didn't really deal with no drama and shit, man. Well, the other secondary thing I would say that was kind of a drawback to BlogTalkRadio, I didn't really make no money off of BlogTalkRadio. Well, truthfully, I don't really make no money off of YouTube. I'm going to get to that too. But yeah, man, a lot of people thought I was cleaning up money. I wasn't making no money off of you, not directly. Now, indirectly, you could say I was because, you know, if people listen to my shows on BlogTalkRadio, they would be motivated to go out and purchase one or more of my ebooks, one or more of my paperbacks, or one or more of my audiobooks. So in that sense, I indirectly made money from BlogTalk. But as far as directly from BlogTalkRadio, I made an average of like $75 to $100 a show off of that, episode off of BlogTalkRadio. Yeah, man, I only made roughly about $75 to $100 per episode off of BlogTalkRadio, man, directly, like off of the ad revenue and shit. So yeah, I ain't make hardly no money off of BlogTalkRadio, man. But yeah, man, YouTube, man, again, this relates to my very last video. It's too easy on here for people to just duplicate your shit, man. It's too easy for people to duplicate your shit without... Now, the one thing I do have a benefit, and a few people on YouTube, such as Ron Wheels, among a few other people, the reason why I have some degree of power compared to the average YouTube personality is because I'm a book author. So, as I mentioned in my last video, again, I'm going to try not to just I don't want to totally rehash everything I said in yesterday's video, but being a book author, if I use talking points specifically from my books, and people repeat that, duplicate it, regurgitate it, I can have their video taken down. So that's one advantage I do have being a book author. I can have, because yeah, you can't just repeat stuff from somebody's book on YouTube without consequence. You can't do that. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, the only way you can talk about stuff from people's book is if you're presenting some type of review/critique, or some type of endorsement. Otherwise, man, you can't use talking points from people's books. And, you know, at least 2/3 of my talking points on my videos are directly from my books. Now, let's say I wasn't a book author, though. Let's say, hypothetically, I wasn't a book author. I was just a combination of a dating coach and a YouTube personality. Like, somebody in that category would be like Stevie Dean Williams. Stevie Dean Williams is in that category. Stevie Dean Williams don't have no books. He don't have no ebooks. He don't have no paperbacks. He don't have no hardcovers. He don't have no copyrighted audiobooks. He's a dating coach and he does YouTube videos. So if I had to use him, honestly, as an example, if somebody was to steal his talking points, it ain't really shit he could do about it on YouTube. Honestly, it ain't really shit he could do about it other than call that person out. He could call him out for stealing. But as far as getting the video taken down, he can't. Like, if I didn't have my books, my copywritten books, and say I was on YouTube talking about a lot of things to do with attraction and seduction and women's sexual duplicity and just all the stuff I talk about, but I didn't have no books, I didn't have no copywritten ebooks, copywritten paperbacks, copywritten audiobooks, and people were to go on their channels and basically repeat, duplicate, and regurgitate my talking points, essentially steal my shit, it wouldn't really be nothing I could do about that. And that's why that chick Francesca Ramsey was so frustrated, because it wouldn't be anything I could do about that. I could complain to the person, I could call them out, but I really couldn't have. The only way you can have people's video taken down for stealing your shit is if you're like a book author a magazine columnist, a newspaper columnist, a singer-songwriter, a filmmaker, screenwriter, musician, some of that nature. Something where you have copyrighted and or trademark material. Copywritten and or trademark material. Where it's documented that you have copywritten and or trademark material. That's the only way you can have people's videos taken down. So like, for example, if somebody was to read my book, The Possibility of Sex, and they were to get on a YouTube channel and read just about all my content and talking points from, say, chapter 3 of The Possibility of Sex on a YouTube video, I can have that video taken down. Because once I submit a complaint to YouTube, I can just simply say, the material in this video is representative of the content from my 2012 copywritten book, The Possibility of Sex. And then YouTube will take it down within usually 24 to 48 hours. They'll take it down. They'll take it down. The only time I've been unsuccessful in taking down a video, having a video taken down, was there was 2 or 3 times where people did a video basically slamming Mode 1. They were basically criticizing Mode 1. And I tried to have the video taken down, but YouTube said they couldn't really take it down because that's considered a review/critique. A review/critique. See, that again, that's the one time you can talk about a book author's stuff. You still can't talk about it in real specific detail. But if you're offering some type of review/critique or an endorsement, then you know you're safe in doing that. But anyway, yeah, man, I don't like that aspect of YouTube, man. I really don't. I don't like that. And as far as the second half of the video, which was the longer part, because where I talked about things related to copyright infringement, that only took about 55 minutes to an hour. That only took up about 55 minutes to an hour of yesterday's video. Then I spent the other hour and 15 minutes basically reminding people of my place in the manosphere, which is something, quite honestly, I feel has to be done at least once or twice a year. I feel like I have to do that an average of once or twice a year, remind people of my place in the manosphere. Because here's the thing, man, and I mentioned this in yesterday's video. There's a lot of people, see, I've only been on YouTube for like just over 2 years. Now, most of my longtime followers, they know my backstory, my history, and all that stuff. So I'm not worried about them. But there's a lot of young people who didn't become familiar with me until I got on YouTube. They actually think I'm new. There are some people, it ain't that many, but a small percentage, but there's some people on YouTube who literally think I'm new on the scene. They think I'm like a fairly new dating coach and a fairly new personality and influence in the manosphere. You remember LL Cool J had that song? You know, some young people, even young people should know who LL Cool J is. But he's a legendary rapper. And there was a time where he took a break from rapping. I can't remember how long it was. If it was a 2 years, 3 years, 4. He kind of took a break. And then he came back and started rapping again. And when he came back, he had this lyric in his song. He said, "Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years." Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. It's almost like, and I don't think this happened with Michael Jordan, but I'm going to use this hypothetical. Remember when Michael Jordan retired? Well, he retired twice, actually. He retired for about 1.5 years, came back and played for like 3.5 years. Then he retired again. Then he came back and played for 2 years with the Washington Wizards. Remember that? Remember, after the second time he retired, he came back and played for the Washington Wizards. Now imagine if some young person who wasn't really thoroughly familiar with the history of the NBA was to think Michael Jordan was somebody new. Like his stint with the Wizards was his first time playing basketball. No, I doubt if that happened with any of his fans, any NBA fan, but using that hypothetically, just to say, just hypothetically, somebody did treat him like his 2 years with the Washington Wizards was his first time playing in the NBA. Like they had no idea what he had done with the Chicago Bulls. That's essentially how some people have treated me on YouTube. They've treated me like I'm almost like the Washington Wizards version of Michael Jordan, rather than the 6 championship winning version of Michael Jordan. Not too many people, but there's a small percentage of people that are mainly young people, like people that are between, I'd say maybe 18 to 29 or 18 to 35. I've had people like that, man, treat me like I'm the Washington Wizards version of Michael Jordan. And that's why I did that lengthy video and I detailed my timeline, because I had to let a lot of these young guys know, man, a lot of the talking points that y'all hear the guys closer to your age talking about, they got that shit from me. They got that shit from me. I didn't get it from them. They got that shit from me. For the people who watched, I don't know how many people watched the full 2 hours. Some of y'all might have turned it off about it at the hour mark. But dude, to give you a quick recap, man, dude, I started being Mo 1 with women. I started using direct verbal game with women back in 1984, before a lot of y'all motherfuckers listening to me right now were even born. I started using direct verbal game back in 1984. I first put my 4 modes of behavior on paper in October of 1990. That's still before a lot of y'all was even born. I established my Mode 1 brand back in October of 1990. Because, again, I started using Mode 1 in 1984, but I didn't call it Mode 1. I just used to call it sexually straight, upfront and sexually straightforward behavior. That was pretty much my title for it. I didn't call it Mode 1. I would generally refer to it as, I would use 1 or 2 titles before I start calling Mode 1. I would call it upfront and sexually straightforward verbal behavior, or I would call it hardcore verbal behavior. Yeah, I would use 1 of those 2. I would call it either just upfront and sexually. That's where the title of my BlogTalkRadio show came from, upfront and straightforward. That's what I used to call it before I called it Mode 1. I used to refer to it as upfront and sexually straightforward behavior, or I would call it hardcore. When people say, you know, what's that style you use? I say, oh man, that's my hardcore style. That's my hardcore style. And yeah, but I officially you can say I established my Mode 1 brand in October of 1990. Then the first time I put it on paper in a detailed manner in the form of like a pamphlet, or what some would call a booklet, was in July of 1995. I first submitted my first copyright in late 1997. And and next month, which is right around the corner, marks the 20-year anniversary of my first ebook. Yeah, I uploaded, I made my first ebook available to the general internet public in May of 1999. May of 1999. So, bottom line, man, I was around before the internet even came, because the internet, didn't become popular until somewhere between 1996 and 1998. That's when people first started really using the internet. I want to say it was roughly somewhere between 1996 and 1998. Yeah, I was dropping game on dudes before the internet even came about. So for anybody to think I'm new to the game, and on a quick side note, man, and I've said this at least 2 or 3 times before, and I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers among young people. Not only just young brothers, but young guys in general. But, and there's some people who say this, they mean well. I don't think they do. Not everybody who's been guilty of this has done it in a malicious manner. So, some of y'all meant well when you do. Like, I had a young brother, I'm not going to say his name. He's one of my regular commenters. He sent me an email yesterday. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. He sent me an email yesterday. And he called himself giving me some creative suggestions to add to my coaching style. He said, "Hey, Alan, I'm a big fan of your work. I watch just about all your videos. And I don't know if you're aware of these concepts, but here's 3 or 4 concepts I think could help you when you coach your clients." And he wrote me like I was totally unfamiliar with these concepts. Again, bless his heart. I'm not going in on him because he's a good brother. He's a good young brother. I've seen him in my comment section. He didn't mean nothing malicious. But here's what I gotta. This is related to me having to remind you my place in the manosphere. And again, I've said this on at least 2 or 3 other videos over the last 2 years. Man, I'm 56 years old. What does that mean? That means that ain't nobody younger than me can drop game on me. Let me just make that clear. It ain't nobody, and I say that in bold and italic letters, it ain't nobody in the manosphere, in the dating advice game, relationship game, that can drop knowledge, wisdom, and insight on me. Mark that down in your notes. I'm a Jedi master at this shit, dog. I know pretty much everything there is to know about anything to do with attraction and seduction, anything to do with the true manipulative nature of women, the true sexual nature of women, anything to do with manipulative head games, anything to do with sexual duplicity and hypergamy, the delineation between alpha males and beta males, and everything else that's directly and indirectly related to those things. Just the general sexual psychology of women. I know everything there is to know, motherfuckers. Don't ever talk to me like I'm in my 20s or 30s. It ain't no motherfucker that's 10, 15, 20 or more years younger than me that can drop knowledge, wisdom, and insight on me. Most of the shit y'all talking about, y'all learn from me. Or if not me specifically, somebody like me, like maybe a Ron Wills, who's about close to my age. I think Ron Wills is like 2 years younger than me. He's an OG. Or somebody like Rosebud, the former pimp Rosebud. But yeah, man, if you're 10 years younger than me, 15, 20 or more years younger than me, ain't shit you could tell me that's going to make me raise my eyebrows or my chin like, damn, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about women. I didn't know that. Damn, you're really sharing some shit with me. I know everything there is to know, bro. And some more. I know everything there is to know and some more. Y'all keep forgetting who y'all listening to, man. I've had a mother and daughter on their knees next to each other sucking my dick. Can you say that? I don't even like to throw that out there, because I know some people think that's gross. Damn, a mother and a daughter, that's sick, Alan, that's perverted. I've been with a mother and daughter 6 times. 6 different mother-daughter combos in my life. 6 different mother-daughter combos in my life. I had a woman suck my dick while her husband was upstairs. What do you think I don't know about attracting women, seducing women, and getting women's pussy wet? What do you think I don't know? I fucked women in front of their husbands. If you're familiar with what's known as the bull hot wife cuckold arrangement. I know that's too deep for some of y'all. Yeah, that's a combination of BDSM and polyamory. There's an arrangement that you've heard me mention at least a handful of times, known as the bull hot wife cuckold arrangement. A bull is basically a motherfucker that He doesn't fuck other dudes' wives, fiancés, or girlfriends behind their back. He fucks them in their face. Yeah, I know for some of y'all who not familiar, that's blowing your mind. That's what a bull does. When you a bull, you fuck a motherfucker's bitch in his face. Look it up. BDSM bull. Yeah, I fucked another dude's wife while he was sitting in a chair jacking off watching me fuck his wife. Now, I ain't never done that. I don't think I've ever done that with a black couple. I'm sure there are some black cuckolds, particularly nowadays. I'm sure there are some black cuckolds. The guy who's watching, that's what they're called. Not the formal definition of a cuckold. That's the BDSM definition and polyamory definition of a cuckold. A cuckold in the BDSM and polyamory world is a guy who gets off on watching another dude fuck his wife, fiance, or girlfriend. Particularly if he's Caucasian and you're black, you're known as a black bull. Black bull. All you got to do is go on any major porn site. They tell you about that. They have it on porn sites where, it'll say husband watching black bull fuck his wife. Yeah, I've been a black bull, man. And I don't say that to whatever, rub my ball, toot my horn. I'm saying that in reference to my original statement. Man, ain't shit none of y'all motherfuckers can tell me about pulling women, man. And again, the guy who did, the young brother who did it yesterday, again, he didn't have no malicious or arrogant intent in that. He was just generally trying to be helpful. And I've had a few guys like that. Sometimes they come in my comment section or they'll write me emails like they're dropping game on me. You can't drop game on me. Honestly, you can't drop game on Alan Roger Currie. Again, I'm a Jedi master at this shit, man. I know how to hypnotize a woman. Do you know how to do that? I literally know how to put a woman in a hypnotic trance while I'm talking to her. It's called conversational hypnosis. I literally know how to put a woman in a hypnotic trance while I'm talking to her. So y'all think y'all can drop game on me? And again, this is why I did the second half of yesterday's video, man. Is to let y'all motherfuckers know, man, I've been in the game for a long time, man. I mentioned in that video, man, I've trained, I've had other dating coaches and PUAs consult with me. Dating coaches have paid me for consultations. You know you're a Jedi master if you got guys who are supposed to be teaching other guys coming to you to learn. Yeah, I would say over the last roughly 15 years, I've probably coached about 12 guys, other dating coaches. I want to say at least 10 or 11 of those guys were international. They weren't in the United States. They were international. And, and they were bilingual and in some cases multilingual. Yeah, most of their clients didn't speak American English. Yeah, man, so I had to remind people, man, of my place, man, in this manosphere. Like I said in that video, man, I'm a pioneer of the manosphere. Again, I'm not talking about the black manosphere. I'm talking about the worldwide manosphere, man. Then I get off this point and move to my main subject. But like a perfect example was about a month ago, might have been a little over a month ago. I had a guy come in my comment section and he said, Alan, don't you think you owe your career as a book author and dating coach to the likes of Eric von Markovic, aka Mystery Method, and Neil Strauss? Because I'm sure you didn't decide to become a book author, dating coach until the book The Game came out. That's what made all these guys want to be dating coaches. I'm sure that's the main reason why you became a dating coach, because you saw how popular the book The Game was. In case you're ignorant to that book, there's a book, well-known book, the first book that kind of put the PUA community on the map, called The Game, Penetrating the Secret Society of Pickup Artists. It came out, I think, in either September or October of 2005. It came out about 6 months before the paperback version of my Mo 1 book came out. But yeah, one guy came on comment and says, he actually said that. He said, Alan, don't you think you owe them credit? Because he basically tried to suggest that I didn't even think about becoming a dating coach or a book off into the game. I in a real nice way. I didn't go off on a dude, but in a nice way. It'd be like, shit, if anything, it's just the opposite. Man, I was around before Mystery Method came out. Again, man, I started being Mode 1 with women in 1984. I wrote down my principles and philosophies on paper in 1990. I detailed them and expanded on them in 1995. I had my first ebook, a 150-page ebook, in 1999, May of 1999. So how you gonna say I learned that I was influenced by Mystery Method and Neil Strauss? It wasn't really nobody who had a book out that was about dropping game when I first started dropping game on guys. The first guys I came across who had like dating advice books, well, Iceberg Slim, I think he already had his book out, Pimp, The Story of My Life. That was more of that wasn't really a self-help book though. That was more of an autobiography. So that's a little different. It wasn't truly, even though he had like a lot of advice, knowledge, and wisdom and insight in the book, but that was more of an autobiography. So that wasn't really considered truly a self-help book. That was more of an autobiography. But as far as a true self-help book, first book I ran across that was in the self-help genre to do with advice for men was a guy, most of y'all wouldn't know this guy, but he did kind of blow up and gain a certain level of notoriety. Radio personality named Michael Baisden. He was from the Chicago area. Now, actually, his book, though, was for women. So technically, he don't count. He didn't write books for men. His book was mainly geared to, it was kind of geared towards men and women, but it was more so geared towards women. Yeah, it was called Why Men Cheat. He came out that, I want to say, in either 1995 or 1996. That was the first guy's book I heard about. Somebody who had a book out before I published my ebook. Ross Jeffries. Well, no, Ross Jeffries, he didn't have a book. I don't think he had an ebook or paperback. He might have. But I think the second person I learned about before I came out with my ebook was Ross Jeffries. I heard about him around 1998. Also heard of Tom Likas, even though he didn't really have a book either. But he was considered kind of a self-help guru of sorts. He was more so considered a radio personality. But I heard of him. I used to listen to him when I lived in Los Angeles because he was real popular in Los Angeles. I first heard of Tom Likas, I think around 1996 or 97. Matter of fact, one of my first early drafts of Mo 1, I sent to him. He has a copy of one of my first drafts of Mo. He actually mentioned Mo 1 on one of his radio shows one time, one of his radio show episodes. Yeah, some of my followers told me. He mentioned my book one time. But yeah, I heard of him in the late 90s. Then Ron Wills, I heard of him around late spring, early summer of 2001. I think he came out with his book in 2000. I heard about him in 2001. So yeah, Rom has been around for a while. Yeah, that's when I first heard of Rom. It was around, yeah, it was like late. I first contacted Rom around August, September, October of 2001. After that was Tariq Nasheed. I became familiar with him, I think, around 2004, 2005. But yeah, man, anyway, man, yeah, man, I had a following on AskMan.com back in like 2002, 2003, 2004. I used to post on this popular message board. It was actually, some people consider it the most popular dating relationships message board on the internet at that time. It's called AskMan.com. I used to post on there between 2002 and 2006. That's when I was probably the first time I established like a following, a Mo 1 following. And, but anyway, man, yeah, man, you got to remind people. Man, on a quick side note, I said I was going to get off this topic, but this see, for those people might say, well, damn, Alan's kind of overreacting to this whole thing about people repeating and regurgitating his talking points and stuff. Do you know in other industries, this has been a big issue? And I don't want to get too lengthy because I want to keep this under an hour, but computer industry. I don't know if most of you know, but Steve Jobs and Bill Gates didn't speak for a long while, man. They didn't speak for a long while. Matter of fact, if you watch that TV movie that chronicled their history, I don't want to get too lengthy, but in a nutshell, man, Bill Gates basically stole a lot of Steve Jobs' activities, man. Concepts and computer software concepts. Like Windows, like if you own a PC and you use Microsoft Windows, that's kind of an indirect ripoff of Steve Jobs shit. A lot of y'all young people might not know that, man. Basically, Bill Gates basically ripped off because they were cool. At first, they were cool with each other. And see, here was the thing. Steve Jobs not only made software, but he wanted his software to be also exclusively part of his own computers. So not only did he manufacture computer software, but he manufactured computers, his own Apple computers. Then what Bill Gates basically said was, because see, before Steve Jobs and Bill Gates came along, everything was in what's known as DOS. A lot of you guys probably wouldn't even know what the fuck that is. Like the very, very, very first time I used the internet, it was in DOS form. DOS, DOS. Like when you would turn on your computer, you would just see this dark space. Like if you went up in a spaceship and you was in space, that's how your computer would look. There was no apps and screens and none of screensavers and none of that shit. It was just this big blank space. Steve Jobs was the first one to change that. And then right behind him was Bill Gates. But yeah, again, without getting too lengthy, Bill Gates basically stole a lot of Steve Jobs concepts, and that's how he created Windows. And yeah, Steve Jobs, man, was livid, man. Steve Jobs wanted to kill Bill Gates, man. That was a while they didn't speak. So under the category of people being mad because people stealing that stuff, music industry. A lot of y'all young people don't remember, but there's an OG named James Brown and another one named Little Richard. They the OGs of rhythm and blues music. There was a period, man, where both of them, Little Richard and James Brown, were pissed at Michael Jackson and Prince. Some of y'all older people close to my age should remember that. Yeah, there was a period, man, where both James Brown and Little Richard, they used to go in on Michael Jackson and Prince because they basically felt like both Michael Jackson and Prince had not so much stolen their style, but they felt like they were heavily influenced by their style. And they didn't feel like they were given proper. Oh, one mistake I kept making in that video yesterday made me think of it. I kept saying proper credit appropriation. That was wrong. I don't know why I kept misspeaking like that. What I meant to say was proper credit attribution. Proper credit attribution. That's the formal term I was looking for. Proper, like basically, anytime you borrow an author's content or talking points and like put it in a term paper or use it in an article, you have to give that author proper credit attribution. Otherwise, you could be accused of plagiarism. If you don't give that person proper credit attribution, you could be accused of plagiarism and copyright infringement. But anyway, see, here's the thing. I don't want to get too lengthy with this because my time is running short. But James Brown and Little Richard, those were the first two R&B artists to revolutionize the art of singing and dancing at the same time. See, most entertainers before James Brown and Little Richard came along, most entertainers just did one or the other. They just would come up to the microphone and specifically sing, or if they did dance, they would sing and then they would stop singing and dance for like 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Then they would come back and sing. But James Brown and Little Richard, they made an art form of singing and dancing at the same time. Now, technically, some people would say Cab Calloway was the originator of that, who really revolutionized that. But see, Cab Calloway was even a little different because he would kind of go away from the mic. He would come to the mic, sing, then he would step away and start dancing. Then he would come back to the mic. But like James Brown, he would be holding the mic, singing and doing all these high energetic dancing steps too. And people be like, damn, how is he in shape to do that? People be like, damn, I'm surprised he ain't out of breath. Because, dancing wears you out. Same with Little Richard. Little Richard would do that. He would be singing, holding the mic, and dancing. So anyway, when people started giving Michael Jackson a lot of props for his ability to sing and dance, and Prince a lot of props for his ability to sing and dance, James Brown was like, yo, hold up. Now, I'm fond of Michael Jackson, and I'm fond of Prince, but I was the one who revolutionized that style. Y'all better give me my due credit. I was the one who revolutionized that shit. And Little Richard came right behind James Brown and said the same thing. He was like, I don't know why y'all jocking Prince like he's the originator of this shit. I was the one who originated that shit. And sure enough, if you remember, you young people won't remember this, but older people should remember this. There was an event where they honored James Brown. And Michael Jackson showed up unexpectedly. Prince showed up unannounced. And they both gave James Brown his due. Matter of fact, Michael Jackson started crying, I think. He said, he got on stage with James Brown. He said, since I started singing as a child, there's a lot of people who influenced me as far as their singing talent and or their dancing talent. But he said, I didn't have just one influence, but if I had to say who was my number one influence, he said it was this man right here, pointing at James Brown. Then I think he started choking up and he started crying. And James Brown hugged him and shit. And see, that was big for James Brown, because James Brown was like, basically like, he told the media, he said, I appreciated Michael finally giving me my due. His attitude was, I don't want money from Michael Jackson. I don't want him to give me like a percentage of his record royalties. I mean, he's earned his own money, but he said, if nothing else, I just want him to give me my fucking credit as an inspiration and influence to him. And Little Richard was the same way. So all this type of stuff ain't just to do with people like me on YouTube or people in the dating advice and relationship advice. Matter of fact, I can tell you a side story to do it. Rosebud and Tariq Nasheed, but I ain't gonna get into that. But they had some beef related to this. But anyway. Oh yeah, I know on the white side of the manosphere, just like I kind of did my video bitching about people repeating. I mentioned Ross Jeffries. Ross Jeffries a few years ago came out. Like he came out attacking Mystery Method and a lot of the indirect PUAs, because he basically was like, man, I'm the godfather of indirect game. Just like my nickname in the manosphere is the godfather of direct verbal game. A lot of people called Ross Jeffries the godfather of PUA indirect game. And he because he said he got pissed off when people were acting like Mystery Method was the first person to really revolutionize PUA indirect game. Ross Jeffries is like, no, I was in the scene before Ross Jeffries. Anyway, I spent now 3/4 of my video just rehashing my last video, but I wanted to point that out. But here's my main thing, and this probably won't take long now. There's a lot of things I don't like about YouTube. I'm not going to go into just full detail, all the drama, back and forth beefs. So here's what's going to happen starting with May 1st, moving forward. You are no longer going to see any lengthy videos from me anymore. Now, I know that's going to disappoint a lot of people who love my lengthy videos. You're only going to see 2 types of videos from me on YouTube from this point forward. If I make a video podcast that's 15 minutes or less, then I'll put the entire video on YouTube. But let's say I make a video that's 55 minutes long. That's 55 minutes long. What you're going to see is you'll see roughly the first 15 minutes of that video. But if you want to see the remaining 40 minutes of that video, you're going to have to become one of these three things. You're going to have to either become a $2 Patreon subscriber of mine. That's my lowest tier. I got 5 tiers. I got $2, $5, $10, $20, and $50. If you want to see the remainder of my lengthy videos, you're going to have to, at minimum, become a $2 subscriber. Next up, you have to become a $5 subscriber for certain videos. And even a few videos, you're going to have to become a $10 subscriber in order to see the remainder of the video. So yeah, like if I do an hour-long video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first 15 minutes of that video for the general YouTube public to see. But if you want to see the remaining 40, 45 minutes, you're going to have to either become a $2 subscriber, a $5 subscriber, or a $10 subscriber. Because, man, honestly, just putting it straightforward and bluntly, in February and March, to a large extent, I kind of disrespected my Patreon subscribers. I really did. And if my Patreon subscribers are listening, you know, I apologize. I think I apologized once before. I'm going to apologize again. I disrespected them, man. And if you've been paying attention to me, man, I take Patreon very seriously. I take it so seriously that I've attended 2 of their conferences. Like they had their nationwide conference, or really worldwide conference, in Los Angeles in early November. I went to that in Los Angeles. I went to the worldwide Patreon conference. They have once a year. Then they have these regional conferences. And they just had one in Chicago about, I want to say roughly about a month ago. I went to the Chicago regional Patreon conference. I was the only black guy there. Yeah, I was the only black Patreon content creator there. And even the one in LA, the worldwide one, I was one of only like, I think maybe 20 to, it was only like about maybe 20 to 25 black people there. But yeah, man, because see, I used to joke about this in both 2017 and 2018, but it's really not a joking matter. There's some videos I do that I don't mind it being free to the general YouTube public. But there's other videos I've done that honestly, man, I've given a lot of you guys very valuable knowledge, wisdom, insight, and advice that y'all really should have been paying for. I'm just going to be blunt. Y'all really should have been paying for it. Like my brother, he was pissed. My brother, yeah, that's his big thing with me, man. He's pissed whenever he sees me do that. He's like, dude, why are you giving away all these golden nuggets of knowledge, wisdom, and insight for free, dude? Fuck that shit. And my Patreon, a lot of my Patreon subscribers were writing me, man. They were pissed. Like there was at least a handful of videos I did starting with, like between mid-January and the end of March. I think I uploaded roughly about 26, 27 videos. I would say at least no less than 1/4 to 1/3 of those videos, a lot of my Patreon subscribers felt like they should have been pay-per-view only. They should have been Patreon level exclusive videos. Like I'll give you one video off the top of my head. That video that I did called Most Men Cannot Handle Women's True Sexual Nature. Do you know the significance of that video now? Do you know that's my most viewed video like ever? Not just in the calendar year 2019, like since I've been on YouTube. Since I've been on YouTube, that's my most viewed video ever. That video now has over 70,000 views. It has over 70,000 views. That's the most views I've ever had for a video. And it has over 900 comments and reply comments, which is the most comments and reply comments I've ever had for any one video. Yeah, that video I did, the one I had my royal blue robe on. That's the only video I've ever done in a robe. I had like a robe. I didn't even have clothes on. I had just my robe on. Yeah, that video had over 70,000 views, man. And over 900 comments and reply comments. And that was probably one of the number one videos that my Patreon subscribers, they were pissed that I made that available for free. They were like, Alan, man, that should be a Patreon exclusive video. And now it is, actually. You can't find that video now for free. That's a Patreon exclusive video now. Yeah, I made that a Patreon exclusive video. But yeah, man. So that's one thing I learned at these Patreon conferences, man. You can't be disrespecting your Patreon subscribers like that, man. Can't be disrespecting your Patreon subscribers like that. So again, the only thing you're going to see from me on YouTube that's going to be free for YouTube is either videos that I do that the totality of that video is 15 minutes or less, or if the video is longer than 15 minutes, let's say it's an hour long, you'll see the first 15 minutes of that video, but in order to see the remainder of that video, you're going to have to become at minimum a $2 subscriber, and in some cases, either a $5 or $10 subscriber. That's how I'm doing things starting with May 1st, which is 2 days from now. 2 days from now, Wednesday. Starting with 2 days from now, I'm no longer doing you ain't gonna never see no free YouTube video that's gonna be longer than 15 minutes, give or take a few seconds. You don't see no more videos that's gonna be longer than 15 minutes. Because again, man, I ain't gonna disrespect. Because man, that's one of my most significant revenue streams is my Patreon, the money I earn from Patreon subscribers, man. Shoot, I make about $2,500 to $3,000 a month from my Patreon subscribers, man. So, that comes out to what? That's over $30,000 a year, man. I ain't going to disrespect my Patreon subscribers in order to please and appease people who ain't fine. Because see, like somebody came in my comment section recently, they said, Alan, why are you taking a sabbatical and you losing money on YouTube? I don't make no money off of YouTube directly. I don't make money off of YouTube directly. That's what a lot of people y'all don't realize, man. Just like I was talking about BlogTalkRadio, I don't make money off of YouTube directly. I make some money off of YouTube indirectly. There's really, generally, as far as I know, there's only really two ways you can make money off of YouTube directly. And that would be if you do Google AdSense. If you're doing the Google AdSense thing, you make money off of YouTube directly, off of your videos directly. Or if you do public live streams and you do what's called Super Chat. Super Chat. You make money off of YouTube directly. But I don't do Google AdSense. They don't allow me to do Google AdSense. Because at the end of my videos, how I have that audio playing where I'm having like phone sex with women and I got women talking dirty and shit. See, that prevents me from doing Google AdSense, man. YouTube considers that too X-rated, too risque in order for me to attract advertisers. So I can't do Google AdSense. I ain't gonna say I can't. If I was to change my exit audio, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to change my exit audio. I might change it for certain videos, but I don't like changing my exit audio. So for that reason, if no other reason, I can't do Google AdSense. And as far as I don't do public live streams, so I don't earn money through Super Chat because I only do Patreon exclusive live streams. I don't do public live streams, and probably never will. Like I used to do on BlogTalkRadio. BlogTalkRadio, I used to do public audio live streams, but public video live streams, 99% chance I probably never do public live streams. All my live streams are for my Patreon subscribers. Now, the way I earn money indirectly off of YouTube is like if somebody watches a YouTube video and they say, hey, that was a good video. I think I need to go out and buy one of Alan's ebooks or one of Alan's paperbacks or one of Alan's audiobooks. That would be an example of me earning money indirectly from YouTube. Or if somebody watches a YouTube video and they say, hey, I want to become a Patreon subscriber of his. That would be an example of me earning money indirectly from YouTube. Or if somebody watches one of my videos, they say, hey, I want to do an email consultation with Alan or a Skype and telephone consultation with Alan or a one-on-one face-to-face coaching session with Alan. That would be an example of me earning money indirectly from my YouTube video. But directly, again, the only main ways you earn money directly from YouTube videos is either Google AdSense, basically ad revenue, allowing people to advertise before your videos come on, or public live streams where you do get super chats. Oh, the one other indirect would be PayPal donations. I get at least a handful per month of PayPal donations. But yeah, man, there's just a lot of stuff I'm tired of on YouTube, man. And again, I don't want to disrespect my Patreon subscribers anymore. Because I actually reached my highest. I had my highest number of Patreon subscribers actually just earlier this month. It's gone down a little now, but 245. That's the most Patreon subscribers I've ever had since I've been on Patreon. Yeah, that's the most. Now I know compared to some people, there's a lot of people on Patreon who got way more subscribers than me. Like speaking of that Patreon conference, man, I felt humbled when I went to that Patreon conference. Man, those people that I met at the Patreon conference, man, they got over like anywhere from like 5 to 10,000 plus Patreon subscribers. Yeah, man, I met people who have anywhere from 5 to 10,000 plus Patreon subscribers, man. Like it's people literally that I met there, man. They make like over 200-300 grand a year off of Patreon. They make over 200-300 grand a year off of Patreon, man. I was like, damn, y'all cleaning up on Patreon. Yeah, but I made my highest number of Patreons was just earlier this month. I think right now I have about 238, I think. As of today, I think I have 238 Patreon subscribers. But yeah, my highest number ever was early this month. I had 245. That's my highest number of Patreon subscribers I've ever had. So I want to make them feel like they're getting value for their buck. Whether they're a $2 subscriber, $5 subscriber, $10 subscriber, $20, and $50. And you might be asking, well, what's the advantage of being a $20 or $50? You get a significant discount on my Skype and telephone consultations. That's the advantage of being a $20. Like if you're a $20 subscriber, you get a 20-minute Skype or telephone consultation with me per month. Normally, a 20-minute consultation with me is $50, and I'm actually going to raise that price in a few weeks. But right now, that's $50. But if you're a $20 subscriber, man, you get a 20-minute consultation for $20. So you're saving $30. Same with a $50 subscriber. If you're a $50 subscriber, man, my normal rate for a Skype and telephone consultation for 60 minutes is $99.95. But if you're a $50 subscriber, you get it for $50. So you're saving $49.95. So for those who might be wondering, why would I want to pay $20 or why would I want to pay $50? If you're interested in my Skype and telephone consultations, it's to your benefit to be a $20 or $50 subscriber because you're getting pretty much like a 50% discount on my Skype and telephone consultations. You're getting like a 50% discount. And also, if you're a $20 or $50 subscriber, if I do any videos that involve other people in it, somebody in addition to myself, like say an interview video or a video where I'm attending an event or a video where I might be out of town, just driving on the beach and I want to show y'all what I'm doing, only my $20 and $50 subscribers will see those type of videos. So that's the advantage of my $20 and $50 video. Oh, going back to this whole thing about people getting mad about people repeating, regurgitating, and stealing content. I'll tell you a big deal on YouTube. This happened a few years ago. And some of y'all listen to me, if you've been on YouTube for a few years now, you might remember this. Remember I told you about this guy I'm cool with now? I first met him on Twitter. His name is Dante Nero. I'm sure a lot of you people, particularly you black guys, but even a lot of non-black guys are familiar with this late, great comedian named Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal. He was very popular. One of his best friends before he died, his name is Dante Nero.
Here's your reminder. Telephone consultation.
Oh shit, I gotta go.
Here's your reminder. Telephone consultation.
I'm glad that Alexa reminded me of that. I got a consultation. I use Alexa to remind me for all my Skype and telephone consultations and important events. Now, since I mentioned Alexa, you know what I'm going to have to do again? As Tony Mason said, I'm going to have to do some ball rubbing. Alexa, who is Alan Roger Currie?
I didn't catch that.
Alexa, Who is Alan Roger Currie?
Alan Roger Currie is an American dating coach, self-help author, motivational speaker, and YouTube personality. He has written advice books on dating and interpersonal relationships, verbal communication skills, identifying various manipulative mind games employed between the genders, seduction, erotic dominance and submission, and engaging in erotically explicit dirty talk with women.
I mainly play that not for the people who love and adore me, but for my haters and critics. That's why I do that Alexa thing, man. That's specifically for my haters and critics, man. And also people related to what I was talking about earlier, people who think I'm new on the scene, think I'm a new kid, some kind of upstart. As LL Cool J said again, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I was going to tell you a quick story. Okay, there was this young brother. In the same way, you guys know, if you're familiar with Alpha Male Strategies, you know he had a quick rise in popularity. He went from like being pretty much like a nobody. Like in summer, fall of 2017, nobody knew who the fuck Alpha Male Strategies was. I first became familiar with him because he used to be in my comment section. In roughly September, October, November, and early December of 2017, he used to actually comment in my comment section. That's when I first became familiar with Alpha Male Strategies. At that time, he wasn't marketing himself as a dating coach. He was marketing himself as a personal health and fitness trainer. But yeah, he used to come in my comment section. He actually used to give me a lot of love, man. On the complimentary end, he would compliment a lot of my advice, but he would criticize the length, speaking of the length of my videos, that was his number one criticism. He would say, now, he had two criticisms. He would criticize the length of my videos. He would say, Alan, man, your video's too long, man. You notice he don't really do lengthy videos on YouTube. All his videos are short, like 20 minutes or less. But yeah, I remember he used to say that to me. He used to say, man, Alan, your video's too long, man. And second thing he used to criticize me on, he used to say, you get sidetracked by talking about beef you got with other people, back and forth beef you got, like with Mamiya Obsidian Ali. He said, man, you need to stop doing that, man. He said, your fans don't care about that shit, man. You need to just stick to your dating advice. Anyway, sure enough, as you know, most people know the story, starting with around late December, early January of 2018, he started marketing himself as a dating coach. And to his credit, he blew the fuck up. In a short period of time, he's blown the fuck up. Like I was telling my Patreon subscribers, he actually got way more Patreon subscribers than me. I think he got close to 3,000 Patreon subscribers. But anyway, if there was a guy who was similar to that, well, I don't know about Patreon. I don't think this guy did Patreon, but there was a guy around 2011, 2012, 2013 by the name of Maurice Kane Carter. Anybody remember him? There was a young brother named Maurice Kane Carter. He came on YouTube doing these comedic videos that usually centered around dating and relationships and what he disliked about women and specifically black women. And they were real popular. And dude, his number of subscribers shot up. He went from something like having 5,000 YouTube subscribers to having close to 1 million. I want to say at one point he had close to 1 million YouTube subscribers. People was following him like crazy. And I even had a couple of exchanges with him through Facebook because we connected on Facebook. I was actually going to pay him money to promote my book, Mode 1. Matter of fact, speaking of him, the first time I ever really did video commentary on YouTube, because before, I never even though I've been on YouTube technically since 2008, I established a YouTube channel in 2008, but I never came on here and did any commentary. I would just upload excerpts from my Blog Talk Radio shows. That's the main thing I would upload, is excerpts from my Blog Talk Radio shows. But one of the first times I actually did a podcast or just a video that had me talking to the camera and doing commentary, it was a response video to Maurice Kane Carter, because it's funny, Me and him started off cool. But then he did this video talking about what else, direct versus indirect. And he starts slamming direct. Now, he didn't slam Mo 1 specifically on this video. He didn't use the term Mo 1. He just said direct verbal game. He basically made the argument, since I brought up AMS, he's similar to AMS criticism. You know, AMS always says if you use direct, you have a high potential of leaving pussy on the table. That's essentially what Maurice Carter did. He did a video back around 2012, 2013 where he said that. Because he did this video where he went to a shopping mall and he's basically being Mo 1 hardcore with like 4 women and they all rejected him real quick. And he ended up towards the end of the video, he said, man, this direct shit don't work, man. I'd rather just lie to bitches. I'd rather just lie to bitches and make them believe I want to be in a relationship with them. And then once I get the pussy, just leave them alone. But I ain't going to be upfront with these bitches. Fuck that shit. This direct shit don't work. Because I don't think he specifically said you're going to leave pussy on the table. He said something to that effect. He's basically like, if you use direct, you're going to leave pussy on the table, man. It's better to just lie to these bitches, man. And I did a response video to him. I think that was in like 2013. Might have been even 2014. Yeah, it was either 2013 or 2014. I did a response video to him. But anyway, going back to this whole issue of, you know, people repeating, duplicating, and regurgitating your talking points and just basically stealing your material. I was on Twitter one day and I saw Dante Nero, again, Patrice O'Neal's friend, just going off on Maurice Carter. Going off. At this point, Maurice Carter was making a lot of money. He was making somewhere in the area like 200 to 300 grand a year from YouTube. Yeah, he was making like over 200 grand a year from YouTube, from his YouTube videos. I guess from like Google AdSense or whatever. And Dante Nero was like, man, these young dudes might not know, but man, you basically stealing Patrice O'Neal shit. You stealing Patrice O'Neal shit. I don't like it, man. If I see you in person, I'm going to fuck you up. And I was like, whoa. And so I wrote Dante Nero. I said, hey, man, what's going on? I'm familiar with this guy, Maurice Carter. What's up? And he went on and explained. He said, let's chop it up on the phone. He gave me his number. We talked on the phone, and without getting a long story, yeah, he basically told me that Maurice Carter, at least 40 to 50% of his comedic material that he was using on his videos, he had basically ripped off Patrice O'Neal, man. He was just ripping off Patrice O'Neal shit and just kind of modifying some of the words, modifying some of the phrases, but he was essentially just ripping off Patrice O'Neal shit. And Dante Nero was hot about that shit, man. He was hot about that. He actually ended up issuing a formal apology at one point. Maurice Carter. He came on his channel and he ended up admitting it. He ended up acknowledging it. He said, yeah, he basically admitted that he had been ripping off a lot of Patrice O'Neal's material without giving him his proper credit attribution. And sure enough, it's funny, right after he made that apology, his popularity started going down. He started losing subscribers. People weren't following him. Like, once they realized he was a copycat, man, they was like, oh, man, fuck you, man. You a thief and shit. You a content thief. You a material thief. Yeah, his popularity dropped big time, man. Karma, man. But yeah, man. So that's a cautionary warning for people who try to steal other people's shit. You know, but most people don't know this, man, but my brother reminded me of this just the other day. Do you know the legendary Richard Pryor? Everybody should know who Richard Pryor is, man. Do you know when Richard Pryor started out? He was copying a lot of Bill Cosby's material. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. When Richard Pryor first started out, he was copying a lot of Bill Cosby material to the point where Bill Cosby had to get in contact with him and say, hey, man, Richard, I'm fond of you. I like a lot of your shit, your talent. But, man, you're stealing my shit, man. You're stealing my shit. And he basically was like, dude, stop stealing my shit. And sure enough, Richard Pryor started developing his own style. Eddie Murphy admitted that when he first started out, he used to steal Richard Pryor's shit. He admitted that in one of his comedy bits. He said, when I first started out, he said probably like 80% of my material was just stealing Richard Pryor shit. He said, the way I would play it off, I would start off giving him credit, though. I would say, hey, I love Richard Pryor. He's one of my idols. I love Richard Pryor. Like, I love that one bit where he talked about this, and then he would do his bit. Then he said, I love that other bit where he talked about this, then he would do his bit. And he was getting paid. And, you know, they had a salty relationship because of that. Eddie Murphy admitted that on Arsenio Hall one time. He said Richard Pryor didn't speak to him for years because of that. Anyway, I got a telephone consultation to do. This video right here is my last 99.9% chance. This is going to be my last lengthy video you ever going to see from me on YouTube. From starting with May 1st, the longest you're going to ever see of any video of me on YouTube is going to be 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Again, if the video is longer than that, you're going to see this. Letting you know that in order to watch the remainder of the video, you're going to have to become a Patreon subscriber. Get it, got it, good. That's another one of my signature phrases. Get it, got it, good. I'm out.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.